Einstein quotes are more relevant today than they were ever in our history. Have you ever thought of how you can use Einstein quotes to create a more thriving organization, or how you could thrive in an age of disruption? We're joined today with Jason Burnham, founder and CEO of Culture Design. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Dan, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. You're welcome. Glad to have you here. And Frank Wander, CEO and founder of PeopleProductive. Hey, Frank.
Hey, glad to be here.
Both of these gentlemen are going to take a quote and answer how they might help you to use it to apply to thriving in an age of disruption. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Frank, what's your take?
Well, my take is, look, Einstein was obviously incredibly creative, and he realized that, intuition, that ability to sense something, was a sacred gift. You can look at Myers-Briggs, which came out of, the work of 1922, psychological types, Carl Jung, and in there he talks about, intuition that worked its way into Myers-Briggs. It's one of these main things. Some people are very, very intuitive. And, some people have incredible intuition, and, he said it's a sacred gift. He had it. He sensed things were there, didn't really know if they were there. But people come to value the rational mind. Somebody could say with certainty, XYZ is true and expound upon it, and not necessarily understanding the value of intuition and why that is so important to the progress of society. Because intuitive people do get a sense something's there, even though you can't see it.
Yeah, the only thing I would really kind of add on to this, right, is I do think a lot of this gets, if we're going to put this into the context of society and how we function, to me, this just gets down to mitigating risk. And I think we've created an environment, going back to, honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. This does go back to, rewarding a little bit of the status quo and always kind of doing what has always worked, right? This kind of goes back to, why we still have very antiquated management and governance models, because, this was the way of being able to mitigate risk. This was a way of having some sort of forecasting in terms of, our strategy, our strategic initiatives, and how to manage to our outcomes. But frankly, we can tie a lot of these different Einstein quotes together, because there is about being intuitive to the world that's unfolding before us. Even if we can't tangibly measure it yet, we can feel it, right? We feel what's in the ether. We could see the energy that's existing in the world right now. We could see, we could feel the world that is emerging. And I think it's important to lean in a little bit into that intuition. But then I also think, it goes back to the validation, right? It goes back to well, how do we make sure that we validate our feelings? And that is when we start to lean on the rational mind a bit, right? And so I go back to this being much more of a symbiotic relationship, but just recognizing that, intuition and rationality just may fall into different stages of a strategic process, if you will.